Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with AvaTrade. Welcome to our weekly webinar, mapping out your week ahead. And as usual, special welcoming goes to new people. And for you, I'll use the same quote I use every week. As traders like to say, you plan your trade, and then you trade your plan. What does it mean? I mean, it's obvious. We need to prepare for everything in our lives, to do a little bit of planning, a little bit of organizing and structuring. And of course, it doesn't guarantee the success, but it definitely removes a lot of chaos and gives us more control in our actions. Few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade. I started as a prop trader back in 2000, June of 2000, and I did it for about 11 years on Wall Street, and then I moved on when doing other things, not heavy day trading, and I started to mentor and educate others. And of course, I'm very happy I have this great opportunity to be assisting our customers at AvaTrade. The agenda of the webinar, as usual, will be speaking about indices, stocks, commodities, forex, a little bit of crypto for dessert, as usual. We'll take a look at some fundamental things, some news. We'll take a look at economic calendar and try to understand what's waiting for us this week. And then we'll move to the charts. We'll go through groups of assets. We'll start with indices, then move to stocks, commodities, and forex. Risk warning, you can find the full statement at avatrade.com website. Of course, everything we do here is purely educational. We do not suggest any trades. We do not give any signals. Social media, please feel free to follow us and subscribe. You have Telegram, you have X, and YouTube, my favorite, where you have a lot of information, a lot of selection of educational material. You have tutorials, you have webinars that we do. They're being recorded and posted on YouTube. So if you missed the webinar, or if you're about to miss the webinar, you can always find them in a recorded format and watch it whenever you'd like. If you are watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to click the likes. If you like it, of course, you don't need to fake it. Somehow, that's how YouTube is working with the algorithm. And a lot of likes, they share it with more people, and that would be great if more people could access this information. Also, subscribe, click on the bell, so you'll be notified on new things coming in. All right, so about the past week, it was quite a week, right, with the sell-off. Then we had a nice recovery on Friday. We'll take a look how it looks on the chart. In general, if you take the major indices, the US indices, where Dow Jones was the strongest, actually established the all-time high. NASDAQ was the weakest, and S&Ps actually closed the week flat with all the ups and downs. I'll just check on the chart. I'll share it with you in a moment. So we had, here are the few articles I take the screenshots of. These are from marketwatch.com and also from Barron's. So right here it says Wall Street wild week rattles investors' confidence while highlighting a growing divide within markets. It seems like there are no two different markets right now. Strategies set. And the key points, I like the way I shared with you already a few times, the way they write the key points here. So it's kind of reading a review of the book without reading the whole book. Some articles are pretty long. So it says right here, momentum trades including silver and Bitcoin experienced significant declines, with silver falling over 35%, Bitcoin losing more than half its value. Value-oriented investments and cyclical sectors outperform, with the Dow Jones Industrial average topping 50,000 and consumer staples rising 6%. And the last point is concerns about AI impact on business models and weaker than expected guidance from Advanced Micro Devices Inc. contributed to market shifts. This is the first article. Here comes the second. These are the four stocks: Amazon, Meta, Google and Microsoft. It says right here, it's existential how big tech found itself in a 650 billion spending spiral. The market has spoken. It doesn't like the massive AI spending spree of the big four hyperscalers, but the companies are barreling ahead anyway. And as you could see here, you have Google, Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft. So the key points. The big four hyperscalers plan to spend 650 billion in 2026 on AI infrastructure, a 60% increase from 2025 and exceeding expectations by 150 billion. Increased capital expenditures are causing stock declines for some tech giants as spending overshadows revenue growth and raises concern about return on investment. Obviously, if you have to spend a lot, your net income shrinks. The demand for AI infrastructure is outpacing the ability to bring data centers online, leading to capacity constraints from major tech companies. So we'll take a look at how it looks. I think the biggest loser was Amazon, sold heavily. And of course, here comes the Bitcoin. I like the picture, they patched it. Bitcoin 50% plunge from highs hurts a little, but it isn't shaking these investors' conviction. But volatility is the price of admission with the Bitcoin, one investor says. Bitcoin experiences worst week since FTX collapse, with the CoinDesk Bitcoin price index dropping over 15% week to date. One retail investor, Corey Kehoe, maintains a consistent weekly Bitcoin investment strategy, having reduced his cost basis to approximately 26,000. Interesting. Another investor, Taleb Brooks, who bought Bitcoin in October 2024 at 67,000, saw his position go negative and expressed concerns about financial derivatives. All right, let's see what happens. I think we touched 60, a little bit below 60,000, then we recovered 10,000. We'll take a look at the charts at the moment. And of course, things are building up here with oil, so the oil up. Also, we'll take a look at Exxon and Chevron. They've been flying. Oil markets are on edge over elevated risk on of a U.S. military strike against Iran this weekend. The weekend brings fresh Iran sanctions and risk of U.S. move against Iran. Key points. Oil prices rose Friday due to increased U.S.-Iran tensions. West Texas Intermediate okay, so 2.6% up on WTI. I'm just getting tired of reading all these things, sorry. U.S. sanctions against Iran were expanded Friday to target illicit oil traders, aiming to curb revenue used. I read it over the weekend. So basically, any country doing business with Iran, with oil, is going to face 25% tariffs from U.S. And the last one, diplomatic talks in Oman between the U.S. and Iran on Friday made no significant progress on key issues, including Iran's nuclear fuel enrichment. All right. Now, also, I've decided to take the screenshot here of Dow Jones stocks, because Dow Jones just established brand new high. With all the craziness of the market, we actually closed at all-time high on Dow Jones. So I just wanted to show you, these are the Friday numbers for the stocks that are part of Dow Jones 30. They call them also blue chips. As you could see here, NVIDIA, Caterpillar, and others are among the leaders here. So you have the change in points or dollars, and you have change percentage-wise. And with all the things going up, you have Amazon down 5.5% on Friday. So it's good to understand what index is, right? So you have 30 companies within the index. NASDAQ, you have technology companies, it's 100, and S&P 500, you have 500 companies there. Now, some of them they do belong to both or even all three indices. So this is the smallest one, the 30, and the oldest one, and very significant. All right, Feds, next meeting, 18th of March. Things are building up a little bit here. So the cut went from 30, the probability of the next cut went from almost 40% to 13 to 18, and now it went up to 23% as we speak. So with all the data and things and issues, this number is kind of growing. So there's a possibility, of course. Economic calendar, very important thing here. Just to explain what it is. It's public information. You can access it on our web trader or the app, or you can just Google it. It's available, and I think every trader should be preparing him or herself for this every week. So what I do here, I take out the high impact events only. So you could see everything in red, the times of GMT, I believe. And these are the most significant events for the week. So let's just go through it. Sunday, I think this already happened. Japanese general elections. Okay. Bank of England governor speaking. I think that already happened as well. So going to Monday, ECB President Christine Lagarde speaks twice this week, one on Monday and one on Saturday. Tuesday, we have retail sales from US, important numbers. We have Wednesday, CPI numbers from China, and we have NFP numbers that includes unemployment and average hourly earnings. This number was supposed to come out on Friday, the first Friday of the month, but because we had a partial government shutdown, which was solved, I think, on Monday, the announcement or the numbers were moved to Wednesday. So this coming Wednesday, on the 11th, we're having the NFP numbers. Very important not to miss it, because every trader is used to having it on Friday, first Friday of the month. So because of the changes and other things, it's coming on Wednesday. Thursday, we have GDP numbers from UK. Friday, inflation numbers from New Zealand, CPI numbers from Switzerland, GDP numbers from European Union, and we have another bunch of important numbers, the CPI, the inflation numbers. This is the last inflation number before the Fed's meeting. So we have both NFPs and CPI the same week, 2 days apart. Definitely we'll see volatility in the market around the announcement of these numbers. All right, moving to winners and losers. I forgot to represent it when I was explaining what we'll do today. So these are the things that moved the most in the past week. These are all futures, right? So on the upside, we have Nikkei. The Japanese index was up 5.5%. Gold was up for the week almost 5%. Soybeans had the big move, 4.79%, and palladium 2.25%. To the downside, we had a sell-off on natural gas, 21%. Bitcoin moved, these are the futures, so we said 15%. The futures moved 16, almost 16.5%. Coffee moved down 10%. Heating oil, 473. Cotton, 3.25. Crude oil down to 55 for the week, even though it moved up on Friday, because there was a big hope, I think, for the negotiations, but as negotiation didn't lead to anything positive, oil went back up, but still ended up a week in a negative. And silver down 2%. All right, we're going to move now to charts, and we'll just go by groups of the assets. We'll start with indices. As usual, we'll start with China. China is trading around here, 14,900. If you remember, we said we broke this trend line. We were selling. We came close to 200 moving average, and we started started to turn around. So this is a key level, as you could see, this 14,900 level. It was playing as a support that we broke through it, came right back, established support again with the double bottom here. And you see a lot of accumulation here. The big question, where's that energy going to? Is this accumulation for buyers moving higher, or is this accumulation for sellers, shorters moving lower? We'll find out soon. Japanese Nikkei, as we said, a huge move. Was a lot of actions around this level here, 53.8, up and down, up and down. This is where we stopped this initial move, a strong candle on January 9th. So at the top of the candle was a lot of moves, and now we had a huge move on Friday. Take a look at the weekly. Strong move to the upside. The big question, what is next? We're in the sky, so it's not much resistance there. Let's see how Japanese index will act this upcoming week. Now, we said in the US indices, we had Dow Jones the strongest. Take a look at this move. This is Friday, right? We held nicely these 48,900 levels. And then Friday, not only we bypassed the previous day's high, we recovered the whole loss. We actually made almost double the move of that loss on Thursday. So we're at the all-time high territories. And of course, we'll see what happens there. Now, the weakest one was NASDAQ, because as we said, the market is a little bit concerned or scared about the overspending on AI. So those four stocks, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, and Google, they dropped the index. We came all the way to 200-day moving average here. And then Friday, we recovered the whole Thursday pretty much. So the question is this a continuation to the upside, or is it just a correction and then we'll continue sliding lower? So that's on NASDAQ is the weakest out of three. And S&Ps, just want to show you that flatness here. This is the weekly candle, and the open was 69.46 and a quarter, and the close was 69.46. That means the drop of quarter of a point. And that is crazy because you see these moves up and down with three huge selling days, and then we had we started positive, right? And three selling days coming to the 67 70s here, and then Friday brought us all the way up, erasing the previous 2 days of selling, and we closed 25 cents below the opening. That's kind of funny. All right, moving to Germany. German index up for the week. We are holding this 24,500. That was a resistance, then it's becoming support, it looks like it. UK is remaining very, very strong here. So you could see here, Thursday sold with the global markets. Friday, we recovered very close to the highs. So UK looks very, very strong. All right, that's it for the indices. We'll move to the individual stocks, and then we'll take a look at those stocks on the news. So here comes the Amazon. Had a sell-off on Thursday and it continued with another gap. Look at these gaps, gap and gap, and trying to recover here. Amazon doesn't look that great. This is the weekly chart. We just erased all the gains from October. So we actually closed almost exactly on the low of the week of October 12th. That's what October, November, December, 4.5 months of hard work was erased in 1 week. That's on Amazon. Here comes Microsoft, similar story. Microsoft had a very nice recovery here. This is the weekly. Tried to recover actually. And then this gap and continuation to the downside, it looks even weaker than Amazon here. Here comes Google. Google still looks strong. There was a gap and it covered the gap the same day on Thursday, and Friday was a little bit red. And here comes Meta. We had a gap here with, I think, the earnings, and then we continue lower with all this concern of overspending on AI. Now, I mentioned to you the oil stocks, the Exxon and Chevron. They're feeling very, very happy here. Take a look. The concern of the Middle East situation is adding a lot of uncertainty, and the oil has been going up. And Exxon closing at 149.19. Chevron, similar situation. It looks like we're facing this resistance here around 182.40. That was from February 4th. Still looks very, very strong. Let's take a look how NVIDIA is feeling. Bring the MT5 here. NVIDIA stock had a sell-off here. This is the weekly chart, right? So at the 2 weeks, we're facing a lot of resistance from around 193, 192. Then we had this week a huge tail and recovering. This is how daily chart looks. We opened with a gap down, 4 days down, touching 200-day moving average here. Opening with a gap up on Friday and a nice recovery. So pretty much recovered the last 3 days. So that's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We recovered on Friday. So NVIDIA is feeling, it looks like okay. The panic sell-off was actually bought by traders. All right. That's now another thing, and the last thing in stocks. Just want to go through the banks. Banks had a concern here with the Trump 10% cap on interest on credit cards and other things. And since then, when we bottomed here on the 23rd of January, we've been trying to move higher. We're facing this resistance here on JP Morgan around 325. That's $3 away from the current price. Goldman had a nice test at 50-day moving average. We had 3 consecutive sellings on Friday. Recovery. Bank of America looks also pretty good in this recovery, on the way to match the highs, and Citigroup as well. So the banks, they look like it was a correction, and we might be going higher here, but we'll find out when we get closer to the previous highs. And that's on the banks. Moving to commodities. We'll go through the winners and the losers. We'll start with gold. Take a look what the journey, right? We had this huge, crazy move on gold with volatility and huge spreads and everything else in the market. I want to share with you on the futures markets, when you trade futures on COMEX, during the normal times, the spread on gold is 1 decimal. And now when you trade futures, you could see up to the whole point spread. That's like 10 times more than regular spread. Huge spread. I know a lot of you have concern about spread. These are the market conditions. These are not anything, definitely not the manipulation. So here we go, gold. We had this huge drop here, of course, all the metals they had on the 30th of January. Then we started the February with another spike down, recovery, Thursday sell-off, Friday recovery, closing at 49.66. That's on gold. Ending up the week almost 5% higher. Soybeans actually had a very nice, we didn't speak about soybeans for a while, had a very nice week, up 4.79%. We were trading a lot, hugging this 200-day moving average, as you could see here. In the latest attempt to go to, we almost reached the 200-day moving average here. That was the beginning of the week. And then We had 4 consecutive days on the high volume to the upside. We almost touched the previous resistance here, but then there was a correction into the weekend profit taking probably. But overall, soybeans gained 4.79% for the week. Very strong. Palladium also had a nice week. The tails up and down, right? Still finished the week higher, 2.25%. Natural gas. It's a really, really interesting character, right? We saw it from huge moves to the upside to big moves to the downside. It has a very hard character, right? So down 21% here. We're trading below 200-day moving average here on natural gas. Bitcoin, we're going to go for dessert, as we said. Now we'll continue with losers. Coffee. Coffee has been sliding. We've been talking about coffee on a few occasions. We tried to break here 382s. Very heavy attempts, couldn't do it. We established, we just kept on making a small lower lows, lower highs. Came up here on the 27, 28 was a sell-off, and since then, a small correction here. Since then, we've been really diving here. Take a look what just happened. 50-day moving average closed below 200 moving average. That's in official terms they call it dead cross when it gives a selling signal. And take a look. If we continue sliding lower, we might be coming here to 277 level on coffee. The last time we visited it, it was July 10th of 2025. So coffee's been selling. Let's see how the weekly chart looks. Yeah, this is the level here from which we had a nice move to the upside. And we're coming to possibly retest that level. Heating oil had a loss of 4.73%. This is the daily chart. There's a gap closing at 240. Cotton, we didn't speak about cotton for a very long time. Take a look at the cotton. It's just sliding, sliding, and sliding. There was a lot of actions here in this channel. Around 64 was a lot of actions trying to break higher. All the time we faced the 50-day moving average. We continued lower, making lower lows, lower highs. And now 3 consecutive weeks, if not to count this one, a strong sell-off here on the growing volume. And our next checkpoint is here for March 3rd, the week of March 30th. The low here was 60.75. We're a quarter of a point away from that. Let's set up this line here. 60.75. Let's see how cotton feels around that level we'll reach. As you can see here, we've been moving higher and the volume is growing here. So cotton down 3.25%. We're facing a possible support here and another quarter of a point. Crude oil. We said the crude oil was down for the week. Weird. Here I'm showing the green, so let's just disregard the crude oil for now. It's confusion. Maybe I got the wrong numbers here. And silver. Silver, after this huge parabolic move to the upside, we had a big sell-off with all the metals. And then this past week was continuation. We made much lower. We actually touched the level of 64.05 on silver, closing the week at 77. Silver was up, down 2% for the week. And Thursday was a big sell-off here. And interesting, sometimes it works. I mentioned a few times bearish flags, right? You have a big pull and the flag, and the moment you break the bottom, continuation happens here. Of course, not the whole distance, but we have a big move. This is the daily chart. We stopped right on 100-day moving average here on silver. All right, that's as far as commodities. Moving to forex, dollar had a very nice recovery here. We've been selling here with all the tariffs and issues, and then we bottomed here on 27th of January at 95.35, and since then we've been moving very, very nicely to the upside. But what you can see, the volume is really not supporting. When we're moving crazily down, the volume was growing. On the move up, the volume is kind of shrinking. So again, it's not 100% proof of anything, but just to observe it. Now we broke through 95.50s here, and Thursday was a nice move to the upside. Friday we erased it. So for immediate observation, I guess, or analysis, we should watch this Thursday's high at 97.85. If we break it, we might be facing continuation here. Now, to pay attention, we still have 50-day moving average below 200, so we're still in that dead cross, which is significant sign of a sell-off or potential sell-off. And let's see. So Friday's low, it's also something to watch. If we break that 97.41, we might be continuing to the downside. Of course, the majors is just the mirror image, especially the euro. We had a huge move in euro, correction coming almost to 50-day moving average. Friday was an up day. Pound, we had the interest rate decision, no change. The pound sold on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, a little bit of recovery. Australian dollar actually remains very, very strong. As you could see here, this is the weekly chart. We did break this week above the previous strong resistance here from September of 2024. And we are really holding that level. This is the level 69.40s. We're really holding it. We just dived on Thursday below, and Friday, the very next day, we recovered and closed above Thursday's high. So Australian dollar, for some reason, is very, very strong. New Zealand dollar is not as strong as Australian. As you could see, we're still struggling breaking through that 60-70 level, a strong resistance area here. And but still, also with the Wednesday and Thursday sell-off, and Friday moving to the upside. Here, what we can do, we can probably draw this line here. This was the beginning of a big sell-off here on September 17th at 0.60. And we are closing above it. So that's on the New Zealand dollar. Dollar Swiss had a big sell-off coming back, and now we're really trading in this very narrow area here. You could see the candle with the big range. We're still, since then, every day is within that candle. So there's some kind of accumulation, consolidation going on. The question is, which way we're going to go? We're somewhere in the middle of this candle here. So we'll see which way we decide to go. USD CAD, nice recovery here. Thursday, a sell-off. And yen remains weak, as you could see here. Dollar is moving high against the yen, approaching that key level here, 157.80s. This was the initial stop here on November 20th. Then we tried to move high, came straight back down, and we could be retesting that level again. And just go through all the yen assets. Yen has been super weak across the board, as you could see here. Swiss yen, all-time high again, 202.62. And the rest of the market looks strong against the yen. So just to remind us, why am I paying attention to yen? We spoke about the yen. They said that the government might do intervention, and then actually they said the U.S. is helping. They're helping the Japanese to intervene or to increase the value of the yen, and then the head of Treasury in the U.S. he denied any involvement, and yen went straight down again. So the yen remains weak. Let's take a look at USD NOK, right? Norwegian krona. We spoke about it, I think, in the last week or the week before. It's sensitive to the oil prices. So as the oil went up, Norwegian krona is showing strength as well against the dollar. All right, and as promised, of course, dessert in a form of cryptos. Here we go. A big sell-off here. If you remember, we spoke about it. Interesting. You remember I mentioned, forget about for a minute all the excitement of Bitcoin, just look at technicals, take this as a bear flag. And when we break the bear flag, you take the measurement from the pole and move it to continuation to the downside. I mean, it looks like it worked, right? Here we go. We did have a sell-off here on the 5th, a nice recovery on the 6th, and now we're actually trading in the upper end of this candle, trading a little bit shy of 70,000, and the lowest we reached was 59,942. So let's see if this sell-off is done and the buyers will run it higher, or we might continue lower. XRP Ripple had a big sell-off here as well. Here we go. On the 5th, it was a big sell-off. Next day we had recovery and also trading the top part of that candle. And Ethereum, similar picture. Sell-off, recovery here on Friday, Saturday green, and now we are flat for the day. So a lot of noise about cryptos, a lot of controversial ideas. Some say we're going down, some say it's good time to buy, of course, as usual. And that's what the beauty of the market is. There's never one opinion, at least two, right? Okay, that's it pretty much. Don't forget about signing up and following us on the social media channels. You have Telegram, you have X, you have YouTube. If you liked it, please don't hesitate. Just takes 1 second. Don't be stingy. Sorry for my flat humor. Click the likes, share with people that might benefit from it, and write your comments if you have. Enjoyed the weekend. Again, just small summary. We have a lot of things happening. We're getting close to the Fed's decision, and we're having NFP numbers, unusual day and time on Wednesday, and then we have CPI later in the week. We have President Lagarde speaking. Other things are happening. Enjoy the weekend. Prepare yourself for the busy week. Have a plan. Control your risk, and have lots of success. All the best. Take care.